Welcome to the Christy Jones Show. This is your go-to podcast for living life to the fullest. I am a life and empowerment coach, speaker, and business owner in multifamily real estate. I am a woman passionate about helping others build a life that they truly desire. We'll talk about how to make the most out of every day, from setting meaningful goals to embracing the present moment. So join us as we explore the depths of living a life that is full of joy, purpose, and satisfaction. Well, hey, my friend, welcome back to another week of the Christy Jones Show, where you know what I love to talk about, all the things to help you live your life to the fullest. And this, not only this week, but this entire month, I am focusing on healthy lifestyle and your wellness. Why? Because it is critical. It is so important. And there's no better time than right now to do that. And this whole month is about living well, being well, and your passport to a fulfilling life. And here's the reason why I chose that overall title. Because by the time you hear this episode, most likely I'm tossing the few last things into my suitcase, my big suitcase, because I don't believe in traveling light, and heading across the ocean to Europe and going several places, but hitting the Mediterranean, going on a cruise and seeing some sights there, and then getting off and hitting land and continuing on in a few places in Italy, and just so excited for this adventure. So the most of October, I'll be back at the end of the month, and so I was like, I've got passports on my mind. I've got travel on my mind. I've got fulfillment on my mind. And so that's why I titled it that. But also, if I wasn't living a healthy lifestyle, if I didn't feel my best in my health and wellness, I was just sitting here thinking about how that would hold me back from being able to do the things that I'm doing. And so it's really important that we keep our health and wellness at the top of the list all the time. Because the thing is once our health and wellness, once it takes a hit and we're struggling in that department, it's a challenge to get back on top of it. It can be done, but you've got to be disciplined and you've got to be focused, and it's got to be a priority. And two, it's almost, have you ever heard the saying that it doesn't matter? There was someone had told me this years ago, that the one person that you could be the wealthiest, most successful person in the entire world, but if you don't have your health and wellness, it just feels so empty, because you can do nothing with the gifts that you've been given. Because you can't fully enjoy, you can't fully share things. And so health and wellness is such a big one. It's such a big one. And we take it for granted. And the thing is you take it for granted until you are tested in that area. And then you realize, do not take your health for granted. So I hope you're hearing this message before you've been tested. Many times people, they don't really appreciate their health and wellness until they've been backed into a corner. And I've always been very respectful of health and wellness. And it's been a big priority in my life, not to say that I haven't been out of balance in some areas of my life, and, I needed to manage my stress better. And I, had things that were really out of balance that were causing me health issues. But overall, I've always known that it's a priority, and that if I don't pay attention to it, it's going to come knocking at my door someday, and it will definitely get my attention. So this whole month, that's what I'm going to be focusing on. And the cool thing is every week I'm going to dial into like a specific area. So I've got guest speakers lined up. I've got an expert in workouts, movement, mobility, recovery. That's an excellent episode. I cannot wait for you to hear that one. And then I also have a week where I'm focusing on nutrition. I've got an expert speaker on nutrition and how to properly fuel your body. That is definitely one you don't want to miss. And I've got so much more for the rest of the month. So there's not a week. You can't afford to miss one of these weeks. You've got to hear all of them. And in my coaching, it's the Flourishing Edge. I have 5 foundations within the Flourishing Edge. One of those 5s is health and wellness. And I decided there's so much in that one foundation that I decided to focus on different areas of that all month here in my podcast. So my belief is to lead a flourishing and thriving life, you have to have balance and flow and have awareness in each of these 5 foundations. And these 5 foundations tie into how you build your life intentionally. So these 5 foundations are what form up intentional living. So one of the 5 of the Flourishing Edge is health and wellness, and that's exactly what we're going to be talking about all month long. So today I want to touch on the ABCs of healthy living. And the first is awareness. Awareness of your body and mind, awareness of your connection between your body and mind. Now, if this is the first time you're hearing this concept, you might be like, okay, what? Awareness, connection, body and mind, what are you talking about? There's so much data out there to back this up. And I encourage you to dive deep into it if this is the first time you're hearing this kind of language, or you're just a little skeptical on that. Really educate yourself and learn about the connection between the body and the mind. So awareness of that connection is what I'm talking about right now. And to be aware, you have to really remember that, again, if you've been around a while, but in case you're new, let me just kind of back up and start from beginning on my thought process on this. So circumstances, situations in life, we all have them, right? So whatever the circumstances, then you develop a thought about it. Your thought about the circumstance or situation then produces a feeling. So that feeling that you have is produced by the thought. So that feeling is what generates how you feel about it, the energy you have about it. And then from that place of feeling determines on how we act, what we do or what we don't do. So that's the series and the flow of how that works. And so when your thought is, let's say, in a positive frame, if it's a good thought, then you have you generate a good feeling from that. And if it's a thought that is negative and very low energy, then that's going to cause the same vibration of feeling within you. So your awareness of the connection of mind and body is so important, because your brain, you're thinking all the time. Thousands and thousands and thousands of thoughts a day, right? And so you have thoughts on autopilot. You're thinking things on repeat. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Depending on what's on autoplay, repeat, that repetitive thought feeling that you're having, that is sending a message to every cell of your body. Every cell of your body. So if 24/7 your body is receiving the message, and I'm just going to pick something like, it's receiving the message that that I'm not worthy, that I'm not really good at anything, that, kind of a hopeless feeling. You have thoughts on autopilot that you're uber stressed out. It's like fight or flight mode. So if those are the things that are on autopilot, then the mind-body connection, then your body is going to start basically demonstrating, giving you examples of what's going on in the mind. It starts expressing itself in the body. Have you ever noticed when you're uber stressed out, or you have a really just things going on that are stressing you out, or they're really emotional, maybe things that you really just don't want to deal with, or, things are tough, they're stressful, they're requiring so much of you. And maybe you're in that fight or flight mode. Have you ever noticed that you sometimes don't feel well and you're a little more prone for illness, be it like a cold or a virus or whatever, but just feeling under the weather, stress does amazing things to our body. And so if we don't have that awareness of the mind-body connection, that's where things can go haywire. So what I'm encouraging you to do is to raise your awareness of the mind-body connection. And think of your body as almost like a temple. And it's the information and the things that are on autoplay in your brain that would you want, if your body's a temple, do you want it to be consuming and thinking and on autoplay and in the subconscious mind, horrible, negative, defeating thoughts? No, you want things that are going to make that temple vibrant and strong and resilient and thriving. And that temple is a very protected space. So that's why it's so important to raise your awareness on the mind-body connection, the cellular things that go on in the body based on the level of vibration of the thoughts that you're having. The great news is that all of that's very, very, very fixable. So if you are like, man, I have all these negative thoughts going on all the time, or I don't have a lot of awareness of my mind-body connection, the great news is there's so much to learn. You have the ability to change your thoughts. You have the ability to change what's on, auto repeat in your mind. You have the ability to change that. Now, is it always easy? No, it's not always easy. But the great news is you have the ability to change that. So A is awareness of body and mind. B is balancing act. Here's the balancing act. 3 things: nourish, move, and rest. Nourish, move, and rest. There is a balancing act between those 3 things. And when we get off in one of those 3, we feel it. We don't feel as good. We don't feel as well. And so those 3 components work together for a healthy lifestyle. Okay, story time. So I used to be really out of balance in one of these areas. And I was really out of balance in, I'd say 2 of the areas, maybe nourishing and movement. I was really over exercising. I was in my very, very, very early 20s and I love exercise, but I was over exercising, and I was not nourishing my body in the way that it needed to. I was withholding calories. I was restricting what I ate. Extremely healthy, extremely what I thought was healthy eating, and just not enough calories and too much exercising. And it was really out of balance, really out of whack. And so when one of those 3 are really out of whack, it's impossible to be whole and healthy and well. And in terms of that, with the eating disorder of anorexia, I got help, and it was mind stuff. It was brain stuff. It was things that I needed to process and look at differently. So once I got through that very short season of my life, I understood that I needed to be more balanced in nourishing and movement and rest. And so really take a look at your lifestyle right now and ask yourself, do you feel like you're well balanced in those 3 areas? If not, determine which one or maybe all three, but determine which one is the one that you're most out of balance. That's my suggestion, and start there. I mean, if it is all three, don't overwhelm yourself and try to fix all three and try to adjust all three at the same time. Pick one and start making some adjustments on that one area. If it's nourishing, if it's the movement, or if it's the rest, which one of those needs most of your attention? So last is going to be C, and that's choices, your choices for a vibrant life. And we can make this as complex or as simple as you would like. And I like to keep things simple. You know what? I mean, I believe that simple works. And when we try to overcomplicate things, our brain just kind of starts to lock up. And then we're overwhelmed. And then we're like, this is too much. This is too much. I can't do this. There's too much. I don't even want to do it. And then you just walk away. You're like, I can't take all this on right now. So I'm a big believer in just keeping it simple. And you don't have to reinvent the wheel. I mean, I believe that too. Business, personal life, all of it. Like, if it works, great. Don't reinvent the wheel. And so your choices for a vibrant life, they can be small changes that make a big impact. And you can take small steps to leading a healthier lifestyle. So it doesn't always have to be this huge, drastic change. And then a lot of times people associate that with pain and discomfort and the changes. Let's just deal with small changes to get you towards good choices to live a vibrant life. So they don't have to be huge. And so I have a few things that I want to touch on when it comes to choices for a vibrant life. Don't focus on what you have to eliminate. I think when we immediately go to, well, I got to cut this out and I got to stop this and I got to not do this, you already go to the negative. It's just such a negative tone, right? And then it already almost has this sense of resistance because it's I can't do this and I don't do this anymore. And so your psyche is already like, okay, hang on, we've been doing this a long time. And now you're coming in and telling me that now I'm not just cold turkey. I'm just not going to do that anymore. My suggestion, instead of saying what you need to eliminate, I encourage you to focus on what you can add in. So let me just bring this in the context of eating. Instead of thinking about the foods that you have to eliminate, instead, think about what you could add in. Today, I could add in, I have broccoli in the refrigerator, and so I can add in some broccoli when I'm cooking dinner tonight. Don't talk about what you're going to cut out of your dinner plan. Talk about something good that you're going to add in. Something else you can add in. Talk about the fluid intake, the water, the hydration that you can add into your day. And then how you're going to stay on track. I'm going to make sure I have so many glasses of water by lunchtime. And so you're adding in. So focus on what you can add in to your life, not pull away from your life. Because as soon as you start talking about taking stuff away, trust me, your brain is so smart. It's going to start going, whoa, 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 hang on. What? Stop, pull away, stop. You're taking something away. It's just human nature. So think about what you can add in. Same on movement. Same thing when it comes to movement. What can you add in? Can you add in a walk at the end of the day when you get home from work? Can you add that in? Can you add in I used to do yoga in my office when I was just going to eat lunch in my office at my desk. And then I would throw down a yoga mat. Generally, it was a day I had on some comfortable clothes. And I would just go through some basic movements, and mainly just to lower stress, to bring some awareness to how I was feeling, to bring some awareness to the mind-body connection. So what can you add in? Little choices. Little choices make big impact. It's the accumulation of the little things that make a difference. So keep that in mind. Another thing is, let's talk about rest choices when it comes to the quality of rest that you're getting. So when you are getting ready for bed at night, do you have a routine? Do you have a series of things that you do that signal to the body and the brain that we're approaching time to shut down? We're approaching the time where we are going to rest. If you don't have a routine, I really encourage you to develop one. Develop one that works for you, that feels right for you, that really helps you settle in to your evening, that helps you settle in to get really good quality sleep. What that can look like is, for me, it is taking a bath. The warm water is very calming and soothing. Most times it's also a cup of hot herbal tea. Aimless reading, easy reading for me. I like magazines. I like simple articles, just things that just really, I don't have to problem solve anything that I'm reading. So I do all my heavier things early in the morning, and I keep things lighter as the night progresses. So think about things that you can do to form up your nighttime routine so you can make sure you're getting good quality rest. And another thing when it comes to a nighttime routine is think about things that are going to lower your stress and signal to your nervous system. Signal to your nervous system that it is time to wind down. So whatever that is. And, sometimes, I love a good TV show or movie as well. Every once in a while, I'm not a huge TV consumer, but I like to enjoy that from time to time. But if it's too elevated and too just too much, it is going to be harder for me to settle into a deep sleep sooner. So do things that are calming to your body, calming to your mind, calm to your nervous system. Journaling and gratitude writing is an excellent thing to do before bed too. So if you need more, habits or better choices and things to add in when it comes to movement, like I said, just add in some walking, add in some little small things that you can do. Trust me, they all make such a big difference. So I just wrapped up the last masterclass that I'm going to be doing for this year. It was called Thrive Beyond the 9 to 5. Just wrapped that up. And many of these things that I've talked about today, I talk about in that masterclass because, most times I'm talking to successful women that are really hitting the mark in certain areas of their life, but are flat, worn out and overwhelmed and feel exhausted. And they want to feel their best in all these other areas of their life. So many of these things that I've talked about in today's episode, I cover in that masterclass. And like I said, I just wrapped up my last one and I really had a blast doing it. And I really enjoy offering that to you. So if you were in that masterclass, thank you so much for joining me. I so appreciate your time. And I know it brought you a lot of value. So that is a wrap on today's ABCs for healthy living. And I hope that you have found it practical and helpful and simple to apply, because the last thing we need to do is to overcomplicate this. And the great news is that you're in charge of your health and wellness. You get to make your choices. You get to create your habits. You get to create the level of discipline that you're going to exercise. That is all up to you. There is nobody or nothing else that is affecting that for you. At the end of the day, it comes down to you. So own whatever season of health and wellness that you're in. Own that. See where you're at. Be honest with yourself, and then start making a plan if there's one of those three areas that was out of balance. When I talked about balance of nourish, rest, and movement, if one feels out of balance for you, just determine what that is, and then start a plan to shore that up, to be bringing that back into flow. So you definitely want to catch the other episodes this month. They are so great. And again, I have amazing speakers. I'm so excited that they have decided to spend time and, pour their wisdom into us and share all that they know. So definitely tune into that. And yeah, I mean, it's all going to come together. And by the end of October, you're just going to be having your suitcase for health and wellness is going to be so full. So in the meantime, I've got to get to packing. I got to get on a plane. I got to get to, I'm going to Barcelona first. And so I'm feeling good. I'm feeling healthy. I'm feeling whole. I'm so excited. And again, health and wellness, one of the 5 foundations for intentional living. So make sure it's big on your list, and let's enjoy this month and everything that we're going to learn when it comes to your health and wellness. All right, go make the rest of your day great, and I will see you next week.